PMI data has come through. India's manufacturing PMI sank to an 8-month low of 55.5 in October. Cost pressure and muted demand for certain products drove India's manufacturing activity to an 8-month low in October as against the Global Purchasing Managers Index of 57.5 a month ago. According to latest PMI report, growth eased in October due to a competitive pressure and weak demand in some plants. Though there was further increase in new orders, the rate of expansion was the softest in a year, with consumer goods especially being impacted. PMI data there at 8-month low. Teresa John, lead economist, Nirmal joining us here on the show. Teresa, thank you very much for taking time out. Explain to us what's happening here. PMI at 8-month low, is it a thing to worry? It's still above the 50 mark.
Yeah, so overall, if you see, manufacturing has held up quite well over the past few months. If you're looking at both the PMI data as well as the IIP data, but incrementally, I think you are seeing some signs of slowdown. So it's not like we're in contraction mode. So we're still well above 50, and from 57.5, we've come down to 55.5. But I think new orders, exports, we are seeing some signs of a slowdown. So that's in line with even the GDP projections that we have, and even the RBI has. So growth is expected to slow from around 7.8% in the first quarter to maybe around 6.5% plus, and then in the third and fourth quarter you will see some more of slowdown. So that is broadly in line with expectations.
All right, broadly in line with the expectation. Anybody who's tracking manufacturing and the sector specifically would say that this was the time where we were expecting some sort of a rebound. That hasn't really happened, Teresa.
So the festive sales have been good, so that will provide some support to growth, particularly in the third quarter. But otherwise, see, global demand is coming off, so and we've seen that exports have been sluggish, for most part of the first half of FY24. And in September, we've seen a situation where the export slowdown has moderated, but we're still seeing a decline in exports. So globally, there are some signs of slowdown. I think India is not completely immune to that global slowdown, and that's what we are actually seeing.
I mean, we are seeing I think PMI has fallen to a 8-month low, and to Teresa's points, it is because of that lack of demand, from global markets as well as domestic markets as well. But I mean, if we look at the broader picture, Shweta, we have been in that expansion phase. Just to clarify, above a reading above 50 indicates that the manufacturing activity is expanding. A figure below 50 indicates that it's contracting. We have been in an expansionary phase for the last 25-26 months or so, and the current, I think, slowdown that we are seeing, as Teresa also pointed out, it is because of the global demand picture that has recently receded in the last few months or so.
All right, Teresa, do you expect or perhaps see a pickup in global demand anytime soon, given what's coming out of China? The numbers don't look very promising, very good. US currently hovering, battling recession at the moment. Do you see demand pick up anytime soon? But that's the commentary that is coming from the government, that the demand will pick up, exports will in fact pick up in a month or two from now. Is that your projection too?
I mean, I don't think that at least in the next 1 to 2 months, a pickup seems unlikely, at least in my view. Because I mean, the US is not yet in recession. We've had very strong GDP growth coming from the US. Even China, growth was above expectations, for the third quarter of 2023. I mean, and given the way the rates have moved up, and the US moratorium on many loans has actually ended in October, probably global demand will continue to remain sluggish even going into 2024. So I don't see a very significant pickup in near term demand coming from the developed markets.
All right, no significant pickup in demand. What sort of outlook do you have on PMI before we move to GST collections data, because that's also coming for the month of October, just about an hour back from now? Do you see PMI picking up? What is your expectation?
Given that we are moving into the festive month, so to say.
Festive month, the festive cheers have been reported by a lot of consumption-driven markets, especially auto sales have done really well.
The housing sector.
The housing sector is doing exceptionally well. What sort of changes are you expecting in the next quarter, given that India is moving into festive season?
So I don't think the PMI numbers will fall below 50, but I don't expect it to improve from here. So if you see the production for the festive season happens, 1 to 2 months before. So we're actually seeing, the companies were anticipating higher demand during the festive season. I think production has adjusted for that in the past couple of months, even if you look at the auto production numbers. So the festive sales will be good, and that's what you're hearing. But I don't think the production numbers are going to pick up from here, because now it will largely be the post-festive demand that is going to drive production, and that we think could see some slowdown, particularly in the export phasing sectors.